Just want to start it off by saying thank you everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate it. You guys have been doing great. One of my videos just recently passed 1,000 views, which is crazy to think about. So yeah, if we keep that momentum going, that'd be great. Hit the subscribe button if you want to keep up with the content. But let's jump right into this. So over the weekend, saw this article New York Post, whatever. The title kind of caught me. There's an article written on the 30th of September, and it says it's called the D-bag tax. New York women are charging men up to $3,000 for failed relationships and bad dates. Now, unfortunately, there's no video for this or anything. It's just a straight article, so I'll go through it. Um, this lady, Martha Duke, that's the one that you see here in the photo, sends Venmo requests for amounts ranging from 1,500 to $3,000 to dates who behave poorly. Now, the article goes on to say Sarah was fed up. The New York City social worker who declined to give her last name, so completely different woman, um, had countless dates cancel on her at the last minute. When a man she met on an app recently pulled out of their date an hour beforehand, she agreed to reschedule with one caveat. He would Venmo her a $50 deposit. Now that already sounds a little crazy, you know? Let me zoom this in a little bit. There we go. Um, but then it goes on to say, uh, this is a quote from her. I'm done. I'm just done with my time and energy being wasted. Sarah told the Post. In almost every other scenario, when someone books a time of their day dedicated to you, they have a no-show policy or a security deposit. Now, I understand what she's trying to say, but I mean, do you have a row of dudes that are waiting to date you that this man taking up your time cut into those guys' time? Because if not, then this is not, apples to apples here. Um, but apparently the man agreed to the terms and sent her the money. They met up for drinks on Monday, on a Monday night date, in Hell's Kitchen, which I believe is Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. So I don't think it's that cheap of a place. And he was fully engaged the entire time, paying for their cocktails and offering to buy them food. Um, Good on him, trying to recover, I guess, from standing her up. I don't think he should have agreed to the terms, but Sarah's female friends cheered her brazen move, while male friends told her it was nuts, which requesting that this guy pay a deposit to see you again is nuts. Still, she has no regrets. I think it makes sense, she said of the arrangement. So this is now the text messages between them. She says, "Yeah, if I ever give you another shot, I'm gonna need a security deposit or something." He goes, "I definitely owe you a round or two now. Again, I'm sorry about that." So you can see he's genuinely, apologetic. It also says that, he was attentive, he took the time to buy drinks and all that stuff. She then doubles down, security deposit needed, lol. I don't like wasting time. So this guy then goes, "What's your Venmo?" and sends her $50. Thank you. You'll get that back if you do everything right. Now, most deposits you get back if, you know, you don't fuck up everything. So, sure. But she goes, Sarah said after being canceled on, she needed insurance that her date would turn up for the second attempt. Now, dating in the digital age can take a toll both emotionally and financially, and some city women have had enough. They're asking men to pay back for their time and energy when they cancel, cheat, or commit other indiscretions. That's asking a lot. I mean, now we need reparations for, poor dates or shit that happens. For me, it's a way to just be like, you're a D bag. Here's the monetary value of my time you wasted. Martha Duke, 38, told the Post. So that's this lady here. She looks like a keeper. She looks like a peach. Um, Duke said that she sent around 6 Venmo requests, ranging from 1,500 to $3,000, depending on their financial situation. So now she's catering to the men that she's going out with. If they're more wealthy, I guess, then she'll ask for more. If they're not, then she asks for less. And also, how is she evaluating her time? Like, if it's one date or maybe a few dates, like, what is she charging per hour here? Over the years to different men she's dated. Also, the financial situation over the years to the different men she's dated. She listed infidelity, secret marriages, and hiding having multiple sex partners from her as some of the reasons for the charges. Now, if you're asking somebody to pay you for infidelity or like having multiple sexual partners, isn't that a or even secret marriages, isn't that all under kind of a form of blackmail? Not to say that she's like pay me or I'm a leak this information, but also kind of being like she could, I guess. I don't know. Putting a monetary value on caddish conduct helps men to better understand the error of their ways, Duke said, adding that she puts the phrase the D bag tax in all her Venmo requests. I'm pretty sure these men know what the fuck they're doing, especially if she keeps like you know, especially in math, you kind of look at the common denominator. If this constantly keeps happening to her, and especially the men that she's picking, either she doesn't know how to pick men, or there's a reason that these men are doing it to her. Um, Martha Duke was fed up with how men were treating her. Okay, New York is the narcissist capital. Duke, who works as a personal assistant, said, they're not going to understand what you did really hurt my feelings because they don't grasp feelings, they grasp money. Duke says the Venmo requests have been cathartic and she submitted them to men who offended her in various ways. One man had promised to help her with her rent but required a not too subtle reminder. Another abandoned her for a weekend getaway in Atlantic City because he expected more of her. And a third dude ghosted her and resurfaced a month later, married to another woman. Okay. Off the bat, these guys don't sound great, but at the same time, they're obviously doing this. Like, I'm not just gonna fucking get up and leave a woman that I'm on a getaway for unless there's something going on. Um, you know, so then you could see here on her transfers, she writes douchebag tax. Duke has sent multiple Venmo requests over the years to men who have caused her significant emotional damage. So now this is in regards to the divorce, the guy who got married. When I ran into him again years later, he's like, "But my divorce finalizes tomorrow. Want to hang out?" She recalled in disbelief. Again, this guy, he's willing to ghost you, marry somebody, and as soon as he's divorcing her, he's reaching out to you. This is not the best guy to be kind of dealing with in general. About half the time, the suitors have paid up. Stupid guys. That's not the way to do it. Duke has been surprised at the success of the request, but hypothesized that men they would rather pay than deal with the emotional consequences. I don't think there is any emotional consequence at this point if they've done this. Like they've chose to do these things. They're probably hoping never to see you again. They don't feel anything like that. If you're dealing with narcissists, you're never going to get closure, she said, but I can get the mental image of them receiving my Venmo request. So here it is again. Venmo request 2,500. She writes douchebag tax. Duke says that men she sent requests to have tended to understand money more than feelings. There's another woman now, Hazel Everett, 34, agreed, saying that she sent a Venmo request to a man she'd been seeing for several months after he stopped communicating with her and sent her another woman's nude photos. I just went on Venmo and I requested $100. And for the highlight, I wrote, for wasting my time. So this lady was with a guy for several months and she only values that as $100 worth of, like, I don't know what their systems are. I don't know what the calculations are, but that doesn't seem like it's even worth your time reaching out to this guy who's clearly, not interested. He stopped communicating with you and he's clearly interested in another woman as he's accidentally sending you photos. Although initially surprised at her request, her former partner paid the money. It's $100. He just wants to get you out of his hair, probably. Stating her reason behind the charge being the significant time and effort into their relationship, which was not reciprocated. As for Sarah, she never went on a second date with the man who paid the deposit, but no matter, she came out ahead. I've never heard from him again, she said, so I just kept the money. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we see here, it says that he agreed to the terms, sent her the money. They did meet up for the second date. He was fully engaged, paid for the cocktails, and offered to buy them food. It also says here she needed it for insurance that her date would turn up for the second attempt. He clearly came. He clearly, took you to the dinner, took you to the date. He apologizes here, saying, I owe you. Again, I'm not going to get, worried about these $50. It's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, he did what the deposit was meant to be covering, and you still kept the money afterwards because he didn't reach out to you again. Now, I'm not saying that being stood up is great, but there is an article here that was from 2018, I believe. Yeah, 2018. And this one says, men were more likely than women to say that they'd stood someone up on a date, which nearly a quarter of men, 25%, saying that they had. About 1 in 5 women, around this to 20%, say that they have stood someone up in a date. So men and women are not that much different in terms of standing people up. That's a 5% difference. Yet I don't see any articles of men saying, I need reparations sort of thing. I need to get paid. Where's my, you're an asshole tax or whatever. And so I think the men who paid their Venmo um did a real disservice to future men because they've basically incentivized this woman to continue doing this because she sees that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Um but again, it sounds like the guys that she's choosing aren't the brightest in the bunch either. If I saw this lady here, me personally, I would stay away. I would say no, thank you. Um, and you can see from the comments in the bottom here, some of them are pretty funny. There was one that I saw. Where was it? Here, there's nothing wrong with growing old with 50 cats in your studio apartment. And I mean, all of these replies are, it looks like, from men. Um, so I don't know how women actually feel about that, but if you're a woman and you think that this is a good idea or that men should be doing that, leave me a comment in the bottom. If you're a woman and you think that this is absolutely ridiculous, leave a comment. If you're anybody who has an opinion on this, because this seems absolutely ludicrous that somebody would think that this is an okay thing to do or request. I get it. It's shitty to have your time, quote unquote, wasted. You know, you're expecting to go on a date, they cancel, especially if it's like an hour beforehand. Yeah, last minute, that sucks. But in the case of this gentleman here who reached out to her again, said he apologized, took her out on another date, paid for everything, but then just didn't reach out to do another one because he probably didn't want to deal with your crazy ass after that. Um, I don't think like you should have kept the money. Again, $50, not a huge deal. It's just the principle of the fact. You put the deposit down to ensure that you got the second date or the date, you got the date, and then he didn't want anything to do with you, but you kept the money. That's not how deposits work. But at the same time, so yeah, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. Be interested to read this.